All right, hi guys. So I'm going to give some quick notes on Islam. So what I'd like you to do is while you're watching this video, complete your note sheet. There is a video linked in the presentation. I will add that link to Classroom so that you can answer the questions on the back of your note sheet. Okay. So today we're going to go over the basic beliefs and practices of Islam. Our next unit is going to be talking about Islam as a faith as well as Islam as the empire. So in order to talk about the impact that it has on history, let's talk about the basic ideas of how Islam began and what are the basic practices of the faith. So we're going to start on the upper left-hand side of your note sheet with history. All right, so Islam was founded on the Arabian Peninsula. Geographically, this is an area of the world that is incredibly important to control. It is centrally located between Europe, Asia, and Africa. And as a result, we're going to see a lot of ideas transpire in the area. So Islam was founded by Muhammad in the city of Mecca. It was a trading city, a port city. Muhammad himself was a merchant. Um, so when Islam is created, the faith is known as Islam, but followers of Islam are known as Muslims. Those are both Arabic words. A Muslim means one who submits. Okay, so furthermore, in our history, Islam is going to spread very fast. So that's going to be different than when we talked about Christianity. Christianity started around the year 33, but it takes a long time for it to spread. And that's because it was not allowed to be practiced within the Roman Empire. With Islam, there is no prevention of practicing the faith. And due to its location and its strong military, because it's going to be a political entity as well as a religion, it spreads quick through trade and conquest. So within a few hundred years, this is the sheer size of the faith of Islam. Another reason why it spread so fast was conversion was very easy. It was appealing, like similar to Christianity, that idea of humble before God and that equality before God was very enticing to many people. And it required far less of you to convert to Islam than that of Christianity or Judaism. In Christianity, there were a series of sacraments you had to perform, as well as fees you had to pay. In Judaism, if you wanted to convert to Judaism, it took years of study. So with Islam, it was simply restating a phrase and submitting to the will of Allah or God, and you could be considered Muslim. Okay, so the Islamic empire, as it grows, we're going to see that there are advancements in certain categories, and all of them are going to start with A. So just remember your all right? And a lot of them tied to their faith. So astronomy, algebra, both of these are going to be utilized in the Islamic world in order to further practice their faith. The reason for their development has to do with being able to practice their faith. We're going to see aspects of architecture and art as well. Once again, heavily tied within their faith. Another important historic aspect that we will talk further about in the unit is the split that occurs very quickly within the faith. So there are two branches, or I'm sorry, there are three branches of Christianity to develop in the post-classical world. But it takes about 1,000 years for the first split or schism in Christianity. In Islam, the split or schism happens very shortly after the death of Muhammad, or the founder of the faith. Right, so we end up with two branches. Those are the branches of Sunni and Shia Islam. The majority of followers in the world today are considered Sunni, or practice the Sunni branch of Christianity, which means that they follow the example of Muhammad. The minority group is known as Shia, and the disagreement comes from exactly who should have followed Muhammad. So after the death of Muhammad, Muhammad had served as both a religious founder as well as a political leader. So after his death, the question was who should be the next leader, that causes the initial split within the faith. And then from there, we do still see further um, differences form. But no matter whether one is a Sunni or a Shia Muslim, you still practice the faith of Islam. Okay, so on to the other side of your note sheet, we're going to quickly talk about some basic beliefs. So as far as we're talking about polytheism or monotheism, Islam is a monotheistic religion, the idea of one God. The Arabic word for God is Allah, but we're talking about the same God. So Christians, Jews, and Muslims all believe in the same God. Their interpretation of that God or their way of practicing or following or worshiping that God is different. We're not going to see any religious imagery of what God is supposed to look like. And that has to do with not wanting to end up worshiping an image versus the idea of God. Okay, so speaking of worship, basic ideas that we need to know. Worship is held in a mosque, similar to a synagogue or a church. Right? Our place of worship is going to be a mosque within Islam. Our holy services are going to be held on Fridays, similar to Judaism, Saturdays as our holy day. Christianity is Sunday. And services are going to be led by someone known as an imam. It literally means first in the rows. They are the ones who lead the prayers within the service. Our holy text is going to be known as the Quran. The Quran is said to be the actual words of God as told to Muhammad. So it is very essential. So we're going to see this difference when we talk in our post-classical world, that in the Islamic faith, the expectation is that you read from the Quran. And in the Christian faith, the only people who actually get to read from the holy book are your religious leaders. So your priests are the only ones who are actually allowed access to this text. That's going to be a major difference between those two. So rules and effects on society. So just like Christianity and Judaism have the 10 commandments as their code of behavior, Muslims follow the 5 pillars. And we're going to see that, once again, due to the fact that these 3 are called what we would say are Abrahamic faiths, meaning they all believe that Abraham was the very first prophet, receive a message from God, and that there is only one God. The 5 pillars are going to have a lot of similarities to the 10 commandments. So obviously, first one, believing in only one God. That is the first commandment for Jews and Christians. It is the first pillar for Muslims. The second of the 5 pillars is to pray 5 times a day facing Mecca. This is where that astronomy and the astrolabe come in. So as Islam spreads out and further away from Mecca, knowing directionality and time of day is incredibly important. Therefore, those mathematics and scientific innovations are created in order to allow for people to pray and practice their faith. So we've got our third, which is giving alms or charity to the poor, so zakat. So Muslims donate a portion of their income to the larger Muslim community. Number 4 is going to be fasting during the month of Ramadan. So from sun up to sundown for the month of Ramadan, Muslims do not eat nor drink during daylight hours. After the sun goes down, you can, but it is to spend that time in reflection to know what it is like to go without. And last but not least, right near where my head is making the Hajj to Mecca. So once in your lifetime, if you are financially and physically capable, you are to make the religious pilgrimage to the city of Mecca. Right? So the Hajj is a pilgrimage or a holy journey that Muslims are expected to take if financially and physically capable once in their lifetime to the city of Mecca. This is the Great Mosque in Mecca. At the center, this small building is known as the Kaaba. And it holds a significant religious significance to followers of Islam. So last but not least, we're going to talk about rules and effect on society. So Muslim law, which is called Sharia, is means the way loosely, basically like that this is how you should carry yourself in society. Um, they're laws debating business, personal relationships, property, things like that. And they were based off the Quran and the example of the Prophet Muhammad. All right, so this is the video I'm talking about. I'm going to link the notes in the post that I make this that I create for you. So I do want you to go to this slide and click on the video link right here. And then there are 4 questions on the back of your note sheet next to a map. Watch the video. It's going to talk about a group of people from Boston who make the Hajj to Mecca, and they interview them. So I'd like you to watch that and then complete the map. If you have any questions about what you do in class, I will happily go over them once I see you again on Monday the 29th. Then complete the map. Your map has 1 more star on it than mine. So please fill in the cities that are on your map. Don't worry, the key is on the next slide. And that is, I think, all that you need to do for me. So once again, please complete your note sheet, do all the other activities listed on your to-do sheet, and I will see you after Regents Week. Have a good day, guys.